Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spearhead cast with me and Matt. We have a 1v1 for you all on Nexus, which I believe is a community map that essentially became, well, part of the normal rotation. Let's get through the players, shall we? We have Smassel as motor division for the USSR. And we have Sturmderer as propaganda tactics for the Waffen-SS. Looks like the Waffen-SS and the Volkssturm is going to try and hold back the Soviets in this little road nexus going through eastern Germany. Scrapyard and destroyed factories from previous artillery bombardments before the Soviets arrived. But the Soviets are going to start up with some conscripts moving around. Not a bad thing. This is a victory point match, by the way, so that's going to be interesting. Also means they're not going to go out for destroying each other immediately, I hope. We have the Storm Grenadiers moving up here to engage the conscripts. Now I should remember to note that on the Spearhead Discord, they're going to have a tournament going starting the 5th of August. If you're interested in that, you should probably find a way to the Spearhead Discord to get some more information or talk to people about it. You can get access to the Spearhead Discord on the Spearhead Workshop page, which you can conveniently find in the description of this video. Anyway, let's focus on the battle. The Volkssturm are being engaged by the Sappers here. The Volkssturm are unique militia units that are able to the Waffen-SS if they play as propaganda tactics. They're generally not that good, but they're cheap, and they can be equipped with some interesting weaponry. I actually think with the changes to how Germans can upgrade veterancy now from the Kampfkraft Center, the Volkssturm are going to be a lot more viable, because they actually require veterancy to get their upgrades. So I'd wager, like, just having access to them this earlier, or immediately when you recruit them, if you get the veterancy upgrades, they can become a lot more useful. That's what I imagine. Looks like we also have some Fontoviki coming out here for the Soviets. And getting close enough to throw a Molotov. Those two pioneers have to move. Yeah, only one guy's gonna get out of there alive. He has to move quickly. And do not underestimate Fontoviki. These guys are trained Russian soldiers. They can be a match for most other factions. One flasher coming in from the Volkssturm. Essentially a German Molotov. Although it was a lot more industrially produced than the Molotov was. That said, I don't think it was any more effective than the Soviet one. But the Volkssturm will allow the Waffen-SS to get a more field presence than they normally would. Generally, many Waffen-SS commanders have an issue of lacking a field presence early on. Propaganda is one of the Waffen-SS commands that allows them to do so. Panzerjäger also allows it, to my knowledge, and so does Mechanisierte, actually. But the Soviets have to get out of there. But there's a Jeep here with a Dushka for the Soviets. The conscript's gonna go down, but that's not the biggest loss. Conscripts can easily be replaced, and generally you want to transition out of conscripts. Was that a mine? Oh, they're being shot by MG08 here. A First World War German machine gun that was also utilized by the Volkssturm. Generally the Volkssturm was armed with all kinds of equipment, and even uniforms. They had a large variety of things, because they were not regulars. They were, after all, a militia that was just established to try and stem the tide coming from the east and potentially also the west. Now the 50 cal on this Jeep here will provide quite a big problem here. I think the Sturm Grenadiers might be in trouble. And yep, that's a dead Sturm Grenadier squad. That's a huge loss early. Sturm Grenadiers are very expensive base infantry. And it seems like Sturmderer is just going to double down on Volkssturm instead. That's going to be fascinating. We also have some Udon coming in here in a scout car. These are elite Soviet infantry. They are definitely going to be a problem for the Volkssturm to deal with, I think, unless they use very good ambushes. The problem is, I believe these guys are actually considered recon infantry, which means they can spot people in hiding. Overall, these are like probably the most elite Soviet base infantry you can get, and only Motor Strelka gets access to them. And this half-track itself is also going to be a problem, because that's a 50 cal. So that's a very powerful weapon. And these Sturm Grenadiers have no anti-tank weapons. He's just gonna drive. He's gonna try and grenade assault, but oh, he just drove over them. The Soviets are, however, don't control of the map. The Volksturm have kind of allowed the Waffen-SS to get a lot of a map presence, which is good for them. I think the Udon should probably jump out so they can be useful elsewhere, while the half-track repairs. Is my opinion. Yeah, and he's jumping them out. These Volksturm have to be very careful wherever they move. Now, because this is a victory point game, they're gonna try and aim more for holding the victory points than actually, you know, destroying each other's base or pounding the other into submission. So this will definitely be very different, I imagine. We also have a tank hunter coming out for the Soviets, generally a good thing to get early. Untersturmführer arriving for the Waffen-SS. But yeah, these Odon will definitely provide a trouble for all of the Waffen-SS infantry. Because there's no Sturm Grenadiers to actually counter them. It looks like the Jeep here is actually doing pretty okay. He could actually probably arm with expert gunnery. We have Fontaviki moving up here with PPSHs. 3 Volksturm behind Sandbag. It's not going to do much, I think. Yep. Brave little Volksturm, but it's not going to do much. Looks like the Untersturmführer is calling in artillery. Udon probably has to move. Oh, that's fake barrage. But he did not know that. He's ordered a charge, but this is very weak in troops. I don't think the Waffen-SS can do much with these, especially not against a half-track. Looks like the MG08 is kind of supporting, though. And the Volksturm do have access to Panzerfausts from the start, so the Soviet can just drive close to them like he could with the Sturm Pioneers. Let's see, we have another MG08 coming southwards. It's very interesting to see a mostly Volksturm force. It's a very different playstyle that the Waffen-SS has access to. And the MG08 is cutting down those Fontaviki. Because it essentially turns the Waffen-SS into a lot more of a militia-based faction if you want to play like that. But I think he is going to go for some more elite troops now. But he has the Hauptquartier for the Infanterie. But I don't think these Volksturm are going to do too well. Untersturmführer is definitely in trouble. He has to get out of there. You don't want to risk losing your officers early, because officers are quite expensive generally. And you want to keep them getting veterancy. The Volksturm have no infantry left, they only have machine guns. So I think this Jeep could actually just flank, but it's going to be right to the MG! Oh, it's immobilized the Jeep, but it's right behind the hedge here, so that's lucky. No, he can still shoot it! Oh, he's using attack ground. He needs to change target though. There's only 2 men in this squad. Looks like some more Don is being called in. Yeah, he's just attacking ground in this area. He probably doesn't know he's already recruited. Yeah, the MG08 is the machine gun the Germans used in the First World War, so you can see a lot of very different equipment coming in. Yeah, double Odon, that's definitely gonna give the Volksturm trouble. Now the good news is, Odon used to be able to sneak. They're no longer able to do that. They can still camouflage and cover though. And I think that was a good change, because you generally don't want the Soviets to just have a base elite infantry like that all the time. That can just sneak around the battlefield. Especially not 6-man squads. Oh, Panzerfaust, although the animation does not play for the Volksturm for some reason. Probably because the civilian model doesn't have access to the animation or something. I'm not an expert. We also have the 3rd SS Panzer Division veterans being called in here. A unique squad to the propaganda tactics they can call in and have one up at a time. A very amazing squad that can be equipped for all kinds of special tasks. Looks like they're being equipped for anti-infantry duty currently, which is a good call, seeing as they're fighting a lot of Odon. Once they get those scope Sturmgewehren, they might be able to deal with Udon a lot better. But currently, they're still doing good, but the Udon are getting close and throwing a grenade. He should probably pull those veterans back to heal. You generally don't want to lose those veterans too often because they are very expensive units. Overall, the Waffen-SS player is actually doing good in victory points, but he has very few units. I think the Soviets, once they can get a tank building up, but he can probably get some tanks out to stop them. The SMG-08 is doing a lot of work, actually. He can actually already arm it with the targeting scope, because he's already Veterans 2 with it. Now, the Odon explosive squad here can still stealth, but they're a 4-man squad, so that makes a lot of sense. I generally don't think your 6-man squad should be able to be stealthy. That's kind of just my own opinion. Although I know that Commando can already do that for the British, but Commando is all about being sneaky. I'm not sure the Odon as a whole is meant to be like that. That's just my opinion. And my thoughts, obviously. Yeah, he could probably sneak around with these, probably on the with EBSAs if he had the munitions. And he could mow down the machine gun squads very fast. Volkstorm is going to run into these conscripts. NGO8 is going to turn to face them. So I think these conscripts might be in trouble. Yeah, surprisingly, the NGO8 is not bad. Even an old machine gun is not a bad machine gun. Talk to the British about that. They used the same machine gun in both wars as well. The Vickers. Yeah, the Soviets are going to take up fully for vehicles now. Tank gunners are present. They've been armed with a bazooka. Probably a waste of munitions at this point, in all honesty. Because I don't see the Waffen-SS getting tanks at this situation. Looks like the Odon has been armed with RPDs. A much more famous, nearly Cold War Soviet-like machine gun that was developed and deployed by the end of the Second World War. The Odon being one of the few units that actually gets access to it because they're like elite special forces kind of deals. I believe they're actually the precursors to the Spetsnaz and similar. Now I think these veterans will actually tear through these Odon in this kind of environment. They just need to target the ones who gets closer. And there you are. You can see with those Sturmgewehrs they're tearing them apart. Like this veteran squad is a really good unit. Probably one of the best infantry squads in the game. That's the reason you can only have one of them at the field at a time. And look at what the Waffen-SS has. They barely have anything on the field right now. Now, interesting, we have an SU-76 coming in. Probably to load it with high explosive shells. A good call. And even since we have these guys sneaking, you should probably also order them to hold fire, I would say. You generally don't want to get yourself revealed. Ah, that is. And now the machine gun's gonna switch targets, so yeah. That's generally what you don't want to do. I would say he should have snuck around here and flanked. But now there's a SU-76. It's probably gonna be armed with high explosives, so that's gonna be a threat to these German machine guns.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Yeah, he's already arming them with high explosives. Good choice. Only the Volksturm and the veterans here have access to Panzerfaust, so if he stays at range, he can probably kill practically everything here. Yeah, that's a dead MG. He has his sight on it. Artillery being called in on it. Just a fake barrage though. And the Untersturm has no anti-tank capability. So I'm not sure why this SU-76 is pulling back, because this Untersturmführer has nothing that can stop it. And there we go, Untersturmführer there, that's a costly little thing. Now I don't think these Volksturm are going to be able to fight Frontoviki. Both of front grenades though. But yeah, it looks like the Frontoviki got the better of it, as you would expect. Good attempt with the Brandflasche though, and it's gonna go off! He's Uraing though, so that's a dead Volksturm. Enjoying the center, but the Germans have barely anything left. But it's still looking good at the victory points for them. But if the Soviets can just turn this around, it's practically over. There's literally only a veteran, an MG-08, and a freaking The big Volksturm squad. That's all the Germans have. Of course, the Soviet player doesn't know that.
Command level capabilities ready for deployment. Getting loud out there.
If he can Panzerfaust this... Oh, the veteran's gonna hit by an SU-76 shot. Yeah, he has to get out of there. The SU-76 is an amazing infantry killer with the high explosion shells. Now he knows there's an MG there. And the MG has nothing to stop him with. There it goes. He is getting a Puma though. And the Puma will be good at dealing with the SU-76. The issue is there is a tank on the fields. But if discarded the anti-tank rifle with bazooka. I personally think the anti-tank rifle will do better against the Puma because it's not as hard to use, as difficult to aim with. Also we have a Panzerwerfer coming in, an artillery weapon for the propaganda tactics. A fascinating little choice. But Puma on the field.
Puma ready.
Now he's gonna go hunting for the SU-76.
What do you need?
SU-76 has already switched to a armor piercing because he probably had radio intercept as his commander to know that there's a Puma. Now he needs to be careful where he moves. If the Puma gets the first shot, it will win. Oh. Yeah. Very smart of the Puma crew there. Using the terrain to their advantage.
Grenadiers operational. They shoot contact. Small arms fire. Complete.
That's a long grenade throw. The Volksturm actually doing a very good job for the Waffen-SS player. Being very cautious with what they're getting, but yeah, the SU-76 is gone. The veterans are moving up again. More mines. I think he should get sappers with minesweepers because he's using the Volksturm to lay mines, which is one of the advantages of using them. Oh, and then he bombs the base! Oh, that's a cheeky move. This is where you would have the second tier building. Oh, T-34 coming in, a good choice. This is where we would have the second tier building for the Soviets and just have the preventative measures on. Then your base would just auto-repair from artillery strikes. So you wouldn't have to micromanage anything about that. Soviets not doing too well on victory points though. Is that more MGs? More MG08s coming out. I am not used to seeing this kind of Volksturm play, but it's fascinating.
Something built.
But T-34 is definitely a good choice. The Puma is only armed with a 50mm, so I don't think it's gonna be as good. The problem is there are Panzerfausts around. And Panzerfaust will definitely deal with the Puma.
You need something demolished.
Looks like the veterans are moving up. And the veterans are already eventually full. So these guys are quite lethal. T-34 on the field though. And you can see how quickly they're mowing them down out in the open. And now there is a T-34. Puma's gonna try and move up. That's a very cheeky move. The Puma needs to be careful because one shot from the T-34 will destroy the Puma. Molotov on the MG08. For some reason, the crews are staying in the fire and surviving. That's unusual. Oh, we have a Volksturm Panzerjäger squad. Unique squad you can call in, but they don't actually come with a Panzerfaust assault immediately out the gate. It's actually on cooldown when you spawn them. So you cannot cheese them. They are one of the few units that actually has an ability to fire 3 Panzerfausts at the same time. And that's a dead Volksturm squad. Now the Puma is moving about. And I think the Puma might be in trouble. Yep, T-34 got a shot. Some artillery being called in there, might be fake. Panzerfaust going out for the veterans. Veterans almost went down. They dropped the MT-42 though. The Soviets need to capture ground though. They're losing in victory points quickly. But the Waffen-SS is starting to bleed a little out in manpower, which you would kind of expect. Double Volkssturm coming in to try and show up the front line.
Replacements have arrived. Area secure.
A commissar has joined our ranks.
We also have an officer coming in for the Soviets finally. Looks like it's gonna be a major. A special operations major, I think. The force is definitely being repaired quickly. They need to.
Red Army at your service.
And now we see the Volkssturm Panzerjägers creeping about. They have access to this ability, Panzerfaust Assault, which fires 3 Panzerfausts. So, very intriguing. Now the problem is they're fighting Odon, which are considered recon, which means they can spot them over long distances.
Troops are standing by.
It's not going to be easy to sneak around with Odon on the field.
In contact with enemy infantry. It is now
Of course, that's where the veterans will come in. The veterans can fight the Odon in cover-to-cover fighting. Now there's an MG42 here underground that someone should probably end up picking, but they need to be careful. The Odon will be able to just mow down anything out in the open. The Volkssturm will take cover to avoid just being killed immediately. Veterans are moving upwards. They might be aiming to get their LMG-42 back. Or get behind cover here to try and start opening fire. Yep, they're trying to open fire here on the Odon. Using their scope Sturmgewehrs. Already getting very good shots, actually. Panzer's moving upwards to try and show up the front line. Panzerwerfer has been spotted.
contact! Enemy infantry!
The T-34 needs to be careful where it moves. I think he's waiting to see the T-34 before he fires the Panzerwerfer. Because the Panzerwerfer is an amazing what's it called? Anti-vehicle artillery piece. But so is the Sukhoi actually. A lot of the German rocket artillery is actually very good against vehicles. And there we go, it's firing again. It's aiming in the area around the T-34, I imagine. He might have overshot. Yeah, that's why he's gonna retreat. Panzerjägers are still trying to sneak up though. I don't think the Odon the demolition teams are considered recon, but I suppose we'll find out. Oh, they are! Because we can actually see the Panzerjägers. Volkssturm have been armed with a bazooka. Very fascinating. They found a bazooka on the ground. As we can see though, the SS players are really building their Kampfkraftcenter then again. They never really got their Sturm Pioneers back after losing them. They seem to just mostly just really relying on what they have. So the T-34 was trying to aim for the Panzerwerfer. But the bushes is so far stopping it from hitting correctly. And it... Oh! Just as the Panzerwerfer tried to move back. Oh, that's bad luck right there. That's real bad luck. Now this T-34 can be armed with improvised armor and everything. But there's a Volkssturm up north with a bazooka of all things. Well, I'm not sure how good the bazooka is against T-34s. Put on conscripts on the northern flank. On the open here, I think the Volkssturm are not going to do much. Yeah, they're being pulled back. We have a Tiger Ace. That's what he was waiting for. Sturm there has called in a Tiger Ace. Now that is definitely gonna be a problem for Smarsel to deal with. The Tiger Ace is like a very good Tiger, obviously, which arrives at Veteran C4, so that's a really big fucking deal. I don't think the T-34s are gonna do much. Second T-34 being called in though. Oh, PTRS with a scope being armed on the Odon. Another T-34 has arrived. The Tiger Ace is already in an Overwatch position here. The Soviets have to be very careful with their movements.
Commander abilities ready.
Squad under fire!
Veterans will take out these conscripts with no problem. There's a few more shots.
Run, Goblin, run!
We got it!
These veterans actually already full veterancy, so these guys are quite a menace.
Grenadiers under attack! Squad!
Soviet major on the southern flank.
Supply sector under attack.
Not sure these three men will be able to hold back much, but we'll give them a... They might actually be able to, because they might have ace training, because it's a special operations
We
major.
have an isolated sector.
Yeah, so far, he's doing a good job.
The sector has been cut
The
off.
Tiger Ace is moving forwards, though.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Wow, this major is actually killing all the Volksturm down here. That's a very long grenade throw, though.
We have a new
And now he's out of cover. He needs to get behind cover.
Political officers are ready to deploy.
But yeah, this major just killed a lot of Volksturm, and it probably shouldn't be a surprise. Volksturm are kinda bad. The Tiger Ace is definitely the priority target. So the Soviets need to make their move. They need to surround that Tiger Ace. Good shot! Ah, but he's stalling. Good, he hit the gunner. He might be able to take out the Tiger Ace if he's lucky. And the Tiger Ace is down. Good job for the T-34 76s. He moved the Tiger Ace too far up. Or they moved the Tiger Ace too far up. Looks like the Panzerwerfer is flying into the base to try and destroy the T-34s. But they survived. Soviets are still lacking in victory points though. But the Germans have barely any units left. Panzer IV-J being prepared instead. Double Odon. So the Soviets was going very heavy into elite troops for the most part. Let's go for a conscript instead as well, okay. And a machine gun. Is that a Maxim? No, it's a whatever that thing is. That's the Soviet machine gun I honestly don't know much about.
You have a need. Engineer standing by.
Yeah, the Germans have lost a lot in a very short amount of time. I guess it's a very desperate defense at the final days of the war at this point. Volksturm and a few veterans being ordered to hold this unimportant bombed out factory area at all costs.
Officers taking the field. Panzer IV ready for
Panzer IV-J has arrived. Also a Gauleiter, essentially a provincial governor appointed by Hitler himself. These were essentially high-ranking Nazi officials, and they basically ruled over provinces like full-on despots, as you would imagine. He arrives with a 9-man squad of all things, essentially a bodyguard of Volksturm and I think 2 grenadiers. Yeah, 2 grenadiers and a bunch of Volksturm, and then himself. He's a very interesting commander choice actually, because he's there to just order the front line to hold at all costs. Very intriguing commander.
Machine gun ready.
Only 200 points remain. Double your efforts.
The Soviets indeed need to work fast. They are running out of victory points. If the Germans can hold out long enough, they will have achieved a strategic victory, I suppose. That might be what the goal of here is just to delay the Soviets long enough.
Squad ready to move.
The veterans are just racking up so many kills.
Crew, get ready. Ready for combat.
T-54 preparing to move southwards. There's still mines though. You need to be careful where they move. There is mines everywhere. T-54 has made itself clear. Firing high explosive on the goal lighter. Oh! And the goal lighter squad is retreating. Being so plumbed up, it's gonna hurt. T-54 is shooting from the flank, trying to destroy the Panzer IV GA. T-54 76 got a good shot there. Now the T-54s can flank from the other flank, from the other side here. The Panzer IV GA is in peril. The Soviets still need to get another victory point. They are running out of time. Storm Pioneer being called in. Volksturm is going to try and bravely hold here, but I don't think that'll hold for long. Already, the Soviets are staying out in the open. Flag opening fire to T-34. T-34 falling back. T-34 moving southwards. There we go. I'll give the Soviets the opening they need. But never underestimate the T-34-76. It's a humble but effective tank. Just like the Sherman is. Never underestimate Allied main battle tanks. Bazooka and Panzerfaust at the same time. Ooh, I don't think the Bazooka penetrated, but the Panzerfaust did. Bazooka got the T-34 though.
Another vehicle has been lost in the defense of the Rodina.
Another Panzer IV GA being prepared. Goal lighter is still reinforcing fully. T-34 taking shots in the area where the Panzer IV is. Panzer IV trying to fire back.
Yes, comrade.
Another T-34 in the base. Looks like the Soviets are content to not take up any further. Probably no need to, in all honesty.
Sniper standing by.
Looks like the goal light has called in sector barrage in this area. So I think the Soviets might want to pull out of that area quickly. And the Volksturm are going to push up. I think artillery strike is going to hit here. If you're heading southwards, attacking Panzer IV GA. Panzer IV won an engagement.
Destroyed one of our vehicles.
Soviets are holding 2 out of 3 points now though, so it's looking better for the Soviet Union.
Ready for action.
Mthis still has a lot of munitions though, so they can still utilize their abilities well. A double done in the north here is a very powerful thing. Looks like Kirby Artillery's been calling 15 centimeter. He needs to get out of there. 15 centimeter will destroy those infantry. Now that we're done here out in the open. Panzer IV. Ammo rack the T-34, but the other T-34 is also pressed the flank. Panzer IV for firing. Probably aiming for the other one. Bazooka did not penetrate. We're done moving up to face off against the goal lighter. Not sure moving into Odon like that is a good way. It's a good way to use elite infantry. And now they're in a crossfire. That's it. They are still elite infantry, but the Golite has a big bodyguard, and they killed it. Holy shit! Still, victory points is looking really, really bad for the Soviet Union. So the remaining Panzer IV is going to move in to try and stop the machine gun. E-54 and SU-76 are present. Soviets are lacking munitions, so probably because they never took this point. So they're not getting any munitions income. I think this officer is going to be in trouble. The veterans are going to target him.
Infantry group lost.
Germans are down to very few units, but the Soviets are running out of victory points. It's going to be a very close match. Another Panzer IV coming in. Hauptsturmführer being called in. No, that's another Hauptsturmführer. That's another Gauleiter. Lots of new infantry being prepared by the Soviet Union. Some conscripts and some Frontoviki being prepared. They have the manpower to do it. They just need to act quickly.
Panzer IV, SU-76, go ahead. We have more conscripts at our disposal.
Another T-34 being prepared as well. Panzer IV moving up with Gauleiter.
Yes, comrade.
Looks like artillery being called in. 15 centimeter, that's some big barrages. Soviets need to be careful and move out of it. I don't think it's gonna notice. Come on.
Troops are standing by.
We are ready. Bleeding, comrade.
Suchka here. What do you need? T-34 ready for... Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector. Our command post is under assault.
Veterans are right in the open here. Panzerwerfer is firing on this though.
Orders complete.
The Soviets need to move.
Oh my god.
Yeah, blobbing up generally is not a good idea.
Prepare yourselves.
Panzer IV is not getting operational. Germans breaking for another push for the north. Gauleiter moving forwards.
Enemy infantry. Target enemy fire. Armor. Line of sight is completely blown. T-34 here.
T-44s need to be utilized better. Out in the open, this Odon is gonna die. There's a lot of machine guns just pointing that direction.
We are suffering vehicle losses.
What do you need?
Looks like the SS might have actually turned this around. Yeah, the Soviets never really got a hold of the advantage, and the Soviets pull back. Well, this was quite a match here at Nexus. I hope you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all next time, everyone. Bye bye!